Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? I am John the Ninja, live in the dojo, aka the Dojang, aka the John the Ninja Studios, and welcome to concert number 17. This show, I'm so grateful to have gone to. The show almost didn't happen on both sides. Didn't almost happen for me, didn't almost happen for the band. And I killed two birds with one stone, saw two of my favorite bands growing up, and also I have story upon story upon story after seeing this one. So dedicated to Zach Hackett. He'll know after I explain the whole entire video of why I should dedicate it to him. So, the band that I got to see, you already know, Motörhead. Lemmy Kilmister's last time in Philadelphia with that band, with Anthrax and Crobot. So let's hop into it. The band was coming, and I didn't know if I was going to see the show. Motörhead did a couple of shows where Lemmy was dying. He legitimately did not look well. His poor living habits were catching up to him, which, considering he was 69 years old, still getting up on stage, he just was falling apart physically and still wanted to truck it. And there was a couple of shows where he couldn't play. He was too sick. He was too tired. He would start. And there was one particular show where he tried two songs, came back out. I was like, guys, I'm so sorry. I just can't. And, there's a lot of talk like, is this show in Upper Darby at the Tower Theater really going to happen? And, I was like, you know what? Even if he messes up, even if he comes out for one show, it's worth spending the money. Motörhead was very influential. I remember growing up, there's a TV VH1 documentary where they talked about, these bands, and Motörhead was one of them. It's like, songs about reckless boozing and cheeky sex, bands like Motörhead, and then, AC/DC and all that. So I really wanted to see them. I remember the first time I heard Motörhead, other than listening to Triple H's The Game, because you all know I saw him at the Royal Rumble in 2004. Other than that, I only heard Ace of Spades. When I first heard it on Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, I hated it. I was like, this is a terrible intro song. And then I got older, and I was like, oh, I love this song. This is great. It's about gambling and all that. So, at MMR, I remember talking to people and was like, yeah, I'm going. And they're like, I don't know, forgetting lyrics and stuff like that. But if you're a rock fan, you already know. But, Lemmy's on his last leg. This is his last tour, and nobody knows he's about to die. He literally, when was this show? Let me make sure for you. This show was September 22nd of 2015. And he would be passing that December. So, we're there. I am still running cross country, so, I got to tell my coach, like, hey, I'm going to skip this. I already got Zach Hackett, I'm part of the Hackett clan now. The Armenian clan has accepted me. IO means yes, in Armenian. So I just need to talk to my coach. Zach has his excuse ready. I need mine. So Tuesdays, which this concert happens to be on, is workout day. It's when you got to give it all you got. So I'm like, oh, bloody hell, what am I going to do? So I go to Coach. I was like, hey, Coach, listen, I apologize. There's a band coming. And I know I already did this to you earlier this season. I really want to go see them. Is there a way I could get my workout prior to? Because I know some of the nursing students have been doing their workouts prior to, and I was wondering if I could do it. He's like, okay, man, I got you. I'll explain his voice. He's got one of the most athletic dudes I've ever met. That dude can do it all, but he's got that voice. High times at Ridgemont High voice. So he gives me the workout. And I remember the day before, I sat down, I grabbed my phone, and recorded him just to hear what the workout is. And I remember quite plainly, it was like, all right, tomorrow you're doing mile repeats. Fuck, I hate mile repeats. Mile repeats are where you go run a mile and you try and hit a split. So say my best mile was 6:30, so I want to try and hit a 6:50 mile, and then I take a minute rest, and then go back out and try and hit the same split. So yeah, that's an example of a mile repeat. So all right, you're doing 4 by 4, doing 4? Yeah, 4 times, doing 4 times. Okay, what's 4 times 4? 16. Okay, so 4 by 4s. Yeah. Okay. All right, got it. Recorded it. I recorded it. So wake up at like 6 a.m. I get up and I go running. And I go warm up, do a run, and there's a trail in Radnor. So I get to that trail, and they have mile markers, which is great, which is what I need to know exactly, because just I usually run by minutes. If I can do a 7-minute mile, then if coach wants me to do 14 miles, I do the math. Now, to his credit, I was a little dumb with it running because I was bad at math. So, like, say he would say go run 5 miles. I thought, like, okay, at my worst I could do like a 7-minute mile. So what's 7 times 5? 35. But I never took the initiative to change the math when I was given different. So he'd be like, go run 5 miles. All right, 7 times 5 is 35. All right, let's go. All right, next day. All right, go run 7 miles. Okay, 7 times 5 is 35. So I'll I never multiplied. So I would get back early thinking I did the run, and I'm like, where the hell is everybody? And they're like, did you go run the run? I was like, hell yeah. And I swear to the Lord, I swear, honestly, I really did think I ran it. When there were times I got back early and I was like, oh, you know what? I probably came back, like, maybe he told me to run 8 miles or 9 miles. And I had to do the math again. I was like, I wasn't out long enough. I'd go back out. But man, I sincerely thought I did the time. So here I am shaving minutes off by accident, not knowing. So I get out there, and the split was probably 650. So I hit, almost don't hit it the first time. Second time, a little off. It's about 7. Third time, about 7:10. Fourth time, 7:10. Fifth time, 7:20. Sixth time, 7:30. I'm getting tired as hell at this point. I go 7, and I'm like, damn, yo, I hit 8 minutes, so I stop. I'm like, yo, I'm not hitting these splits. What the fuck? So, I got a little chip on my shoulder. It's like, well, if I have to run this, I'm going to do this because I'm at the bottom of the barrel of this team. I'm not the top 5, not top 10 on this running team. So I can't wait to see and hear what the other guys got to go. So I go back out for more, and I get to 12. Or no, hold on. I didn't get to 12. I got to 11. I have to run back for class. So I run back to class, and I'm in the computer lounge. Zach happens to do his homework in there where I have class. We're doing coding and learning how to do math on computers and speak computer. So, I'm in there. I'm like this. And he's like, you okay? I'm like, yeah, man, this workout's some bullshit. And he's like, well, what was it? I was like, I had to do 14-mile repeats. But that doesn't sound quite right, John. I was like, no, bro, I'm telling you, I recorded it. It's here. So I let him listen to it on the phone. He's like, I can see why it sounds that way, but I'm gonna talk to coach. I was like, well, fuck it, I'm almost done. So end class, I go back out to the trail, run it, and then run back. I get my 14 done. So I text coach. I'm like, hey man, you got your 14 miles. I am exhausted at this point. I'm dead. So, all right, showtime. Text Zach like, hey, let me know when to meet you. He's like, all right, cool. So I get to showtime. Meet Zach out in front of the field. He's driving us there, and I get in. All I see is, you stupid son of a bitch! I told you that wasn't the workout. I'm like, what? So every time I had to do like a workout or something that coach wasn't there to supervise, I always texted him to let him know I did it. Just let him know, hey, I got it done. I was very, very on the fact that, hey, if I have something to do, coach gives me a job, I gotta get it done. So I always wanted him to know, hey, I did what you requested, even though I'm shaving points by accident. So an abysmal athlete I was for Division III. So apparently Zach went to go see coach specifically for me. I appreciate it. Went to go see him personally and ask him about my workout when he has some free time. So he goes in, he sees coach on the bench before we leave for the show, and he's like, hey coach, I just talked to John. What did you tell him to do for the workout? He's like, why did he not do it? He only had to run 4-mile repeats. Oh, he did it. So as soon as he said that, my text came through, and lo and behold, coach saw it and started laughing his ass off. I heard, and I even spoke to coach about this. He apparently has never laughed so hard in his life up until that point. because he thought it was the funniest shit. So I find that out. I'm just like, yo, fuck this, man. I went to sleep in the car and just we drove over. Now his uncle Walter Hackett was visiting. He came up for the show with us too. So we're all going to the legendary Tower Theater. My second time going there to see Motörhead, and I'm excited because I really wanted to see Anthrax. Anthrax was a great band growing up. Lone Justice was good for me. Just engrossing myself in the idea of like, oh, music takes you on a story. I love Lone Justice. I love the great and powerful song. Oh Lord, I can hear the riff now with Judge Dredd. Just amazing song and a great story too. If you're a comic book fan, you know that story about Judge Dredd. Watch the Carl Urban movie on it. It's so good. So, and plus Motörhead, can't wait to see. Chase is better than the Catch. Overkill. I just got into that song at the time, and there's others they played. So, we're on our way there. We meet Hackett after we park at the parking lot, and we're walking there. And there's, last time me and Greg were there, we saw all the places, all these different shops and etc. So I'm, like whatever. So I'm walking with the guys, they're talking, and I see the weirdest thing in public. Now, if you tell me you see it online or something, everybody's got their sins and etc. But I'm walking by, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't a porn shop, but I see this sticker of Chun Li, the cartoon Chun Li, getting DP'd. I just see this in public, and I'm like, So I was like, you guys see that? We're just walking. We just totally walked by us. Caught it with the corner of my eye, like the side of my eye, peripheral vision. So I'm like, okay, they're looking at me like, what? Anyway, so we go, and we get in line, we wait, and we get inside, and of course, gotta rush to the front. We run to the front, we are there, and we are chilling. And, I'm not totally dead yet, but I'm starting to have a headache. It's starting to kick in. So, we're chilling, and this band called Crobot comes out, and they kick ass. They kick a lot of ass, and I am impressed. Their guitarist Bishop's throwing his guitar around him. Their lead singer's doing all these weird moves, and he's making it look good, making the mic stand fly away, and then he brings it back, and just the guy who caught my attention was Jake Figueroa, who I would interview later on. But Jake Figueroa had this huge afro, and he played his bass like it was the coolest thing. Every little bit, like, I was like, damn, this dude can rip on bass. They kick so much ass, and the songs were great. Of course, the songs were good. I don't think I've ever did a concert video and said the songs weren't good. Anyway, so after they played, and we were so like, wow, that was a good show. I was like screaming like, yo, you guys got it. You did good. Jake Figueroa came out again, great hair, and his brother's, the drummer and stuff. He comes back out. He's doing stuff. I was like, yo, bro, you are the world's greatest fucking bass player. So he, without missing a beat, picked up a set list, jumped down, dapped me up, and then gave me, this is a copy of it, but gave me a set list of what they did that night. And ignore all that extra. This is going to be in another video, but they did the set list, and I was so happy. I put this in my pocket. They played Spaceborne Killers, Skull of Geronimo, Night of Sacrifice, La Mano de Lucifer, The Hand of Satan, which was also a good little song for the lighters. Fat City, which they were going to release that album next. Necromancer, and then Fly on the Wall. And the lighting cues for this was so great. It's great. Like Spaceborne Killer, think Alien Landing. Skull of Geronimo, groovy. Night of Sacrifice, funky. Lots of stage, front lighting, yellow and orange. La Mano de Lucifer, hell, fire, crowd participation, make the singer brighter. Fat City, sand and white, stroby and rockin'. Necromancer, go crazy during harmonica. What the fuck kind of directions are these if you're lighting? What do you lighting people deal with all the time? The last one, Fly on the Wall, make the backdrop and stage look like it's on drugs. On drugs! Fucking A. So, whatever that was about, they kicked ass. And they were 8 to 8:30. Anthrax was going on at 8:50, and Motörhead was 10:20. So we kind of knew what was to happen next. So, now here we are to Anthrax. Grew up listening to Anthrax. I love Anthrax. And Scotty and, just the voice of VH1 and rock for me growing up as a kid. So, they come out, they kick ass, and I'm enjoying the show. They started so strong. Now, my headache's starting to pick up a lot, but I got just enough to keep headbanging. So they come out, first song, Madhouse. They go from Mob Rules intro song to Madhouse, and I was rocking. Ow, God's behind me, out of control. So they're kicking ass. They play Caught in a Mosh next and a couple others, and I was dying to see Lone Justice or I Am the Law. They did not play it, and I was like, you know what? I got to see Anthrax, and it was really cool to see them do their thing, especially since right after that show, Charlie Bennett, or Benante, I hope I said his name right, their drummer, he had to sit out a few shows because he had arthritis, really kicking his ass in his hands and his arms. So they had a replacement drummer. I'm like, wow, you know what? We could have missed him. And, it's like almost everybody from the original Anthrax, except Dan Spitz. They've been rotating guitarists ever since him. But that initial crew that broke out in the 90s, in the 80s, sorry, that was the crew that was there. So we got to see Anthrax. And I was really happy I was able to chop that off. And then I'm dead. I'm 100% just... I'm dying in my chair, in my seat. I can't do it. So, anyway, this is me on the guardrail, and then I even turned around and sat like this because it was so crowded, just to make sure I had room to get up. And I remember Zach hitting me. He's like, "You okay, buddy?" I'm like... So then we hear the music, and we hear the sounds, and I see Lemmy come out, and he's not in his typical boots. He's in these white shoes. He's got a cane, and he walks out onto stage. And he's gonna pass. You see he was on his last legs, but you're like, just please get through this show, man. Please, God, let him have enough strength. I did a little prayer for him. So, the usual. We are Motörhead, and we play rock and roll. Boom, right into Bomber, and stay clean. And you could hear the growl was missing, that rock and roll sound that Lemmy's associated with, but he was giving it what he had. You can hear it, you could feel it, you could sense it, going out on the end, giving you everything till there's nothing left. So they played, and Over the Top was a big song for me. When they played The Chase is Better Than the Catch, that was the song I was waiting for. It's just like and the little bass. And I remember there's a part where he says, "I can't hear you." If you never heard that song live, or at least the recording, where there's a little slow breakdown, a little bass solo, and he says, "Wave your fucking hands." He's like, "Wave your fucking hands." And then for that split second, I heard the growl, that sound, that determination, that gritty, rude rock and roll. I heard it again. I was like, oh, that was great. And then they did the ending. They played Metropolis. They played, No Class, and even Ace of Spades. I remember him talking like, "Oh, here's a song everybody knows." He even mentioned like, "Hey, Philadelphia is the first place we played when we first started this band, so it's great to be back. We will be back. Thank you all for being there with us." Just really an emotional night. And of course, nobody knew. You didn't think he's gonna die. He's at his end. He's gonna die, but you didn't think it would be so soon. You just knew like this is it for him. He's not gonna last much longer. You didn't think it was so close, even though it was pretty evident. And I remember this specific moment that they were playing, and my headache was at its all-time high. This headache is blistering. It's bumping my head. People are hitting me. It's just no screaming, no pain medication. Just and I was on the guardrail like this while Motörhead's playing, and I look up with a dazed look, and I see Lemmy, and he's looking at me, or in my general direction. I'm gonna say he was looking at me, but I just had this thought like, damn, he's probably wondering what the hell I've been through today. I kind of thought like maybe he's thinking like, this is why I'm here, for somebody like that. He's probably going through it too, or something like that. I don't know. All I know is we were both looking at each other, and just, he's looking at me like this, and I'm just like really struggling to get through this show because my headache was bumping. but I do remember that moment, and they played Overkill, and everybody knew that was the last song, and I just knew I was seeing something special with them. Him and Phil Campbell did the little pinky promise. Like Phil walked up to him, he did this, they did that, and if you don't know, that's like if Lemmy really liked you, he did the pinky promise. I myself have adopted it as in like if I give you a pinky promise, this is till death. Like no, whatever we stated on this, for me at least, you have at least. I mean, at least you got my promise till we did. So there's a few friends I've done that for. Like, hey, pinky promise till death, man. So I really wanted a drumstick from Mike D. So after seeing Motörhead, after taking it all, and like, wow, that was a great show with Motörhead, even though Lemmy was struggling. I was begging, I was pleading, I was praying and screaming, Mike, throw me a stick. I love Mike D. I love the fact that he plays in Adidas. Those are like my favorite shoes. So I was like, please throw me a bloody stick. I'm screaming, I'm screaming, I'm screaming. I'm like, he's throwing sticks here, he's throwing sticks there. I'm like, fucking hey, throw me a stick, bro. So Lemmy comes up and he throws a bunch of picks. So I was like, forget it, I'm going for the pick. So I duck my head, I put my hand out like this, and a bunch of security guards go and give people picks, and grace of God, I ended up getting a Lemmy pick. Oh, you can't see it. It's a little blurry. Damn this computer. But it's got, I just take my word for it because it's so bright. I got this pick. It's got Lemmy's autograph on it. And it's got Motörhead on it. I wish this would. Well, that's probably as good as it'll get. But this was in Lemmy's hand. I saw him throw it, and now it's in my hand. And I've only played bass with this one once. I don't want to destroy it. I don't want to mess it up. I hold this dearly. So I got it. I held it. I was like, I did it. Wow. This is a rock and roll icon, and I have his pick. Zach himself got a damn pick from Anthrax. So I'm like, oh fuck you. So now here's the part that really burned my shit. Motörhead did the little thing. They bang the drums. They leave the sound on. All that. They leave. And I turn around, I'm like, where the fuck is Zach? Zach is in a stick fight with somebody else trying to get a drumstick from Mike D, because apparently when I dropped my head to get the pick, the shit flew over my head, and him and the guy were starting to fight over it. Now, I'm like, damn. We're waiting there for like 5 minutes. Zach and this guy are not letting up. They are going at it. They're not. This is what was so respectable about it. They're not like hitting each other or kicking each other, but they're trying to get it right. He's watching jujitsu. Guys trying to measure. Now, Zach, this is where I'm going to apologize. I was the guy who stepped in because it looked like you were losing, and I was trying to push him away from you and try and give you the advantage. But I got pushed, and then a guy pushed me off. So I see Zach fighting with this guy. It looks like Zach's losing. Zach will contend otherwise. He will say I was winning before some jackass got in there and ruined it for me. Not uncommon for me to do that to him. So I went in to go get it, try and, squeeze myself in between him so Zach could get the stick. And I got pushed forward. Zach lost his place, and then another guy pushed me off and said, let him go at it. I was like, okay. So Zach ended up fighting the guy with it, and security's like, yo, if you guys don't figure this out, we're going to take it from you. And they both kind of look at security like, no, we're getting this. So they came up with the ultimatum to split the stick in half. So Zach, manly as hell, I don't know if I could do this, but I'm going to try. All right, just whoosh, snapped it in half, gave the guy one stick, and he took home another one. So we go outside. We're all winners. We all saw Motörhead. I have a headache from hell, but we saw Motörhead. We're great. We're good. And, it is what it is. Unbeknownst to Zach at the time, that stick had a little Motörhead symbol, a little snaggletooth. Snaggletooth is their mascot. It was on his stick, so he's like, oh, I made out. So, but I really wanted the stick, but I think rolling with a pick from a legend such as Lemmy was a little bit better of a win for me. So, with that said, we saw the show. We're walking out. We waited a little bit to see if they'd come out, see the buses and everything, but nobody came. So we walked back, and on the way back, We passed by that Chun Li being, sexually pleased by two dudes in weird ways, depending on who you are. That's pretty common, I guess, nowadays. We see the DP picture, and then Walter's like, "Oh my God, you are lying! It's true!" And I see it too, and I was like, "Okay, so I'm not crazy. Like, there's literally just a picture of this out in public. Like, it's like I gotta send this to a friend. Like, this is crazy! Ah!" And I'm like, "Fucking A." And Zach's like, "I'm surprised you saw that. I'm surprised you even said anything about it. I just would have kept that pushing." So we go back. There's a diner in near Drexel Hill where the guys always ate. So they took me to the diner. We got some food, and I passed out. As soon as we sat down, I passed out in that little seat. Like I was just, and they talked and enjoyed themselves, but I was just so drained. And we got to Zach's house, and no, Zach dropped me off at school. I'm sorry. And then the next day I went to class, and this is what blew my mind. This is the shit that pissed me off. I get to practice the next day, and coach is like, "Yeah, go run 7." I'm like, hold up, bro. I'm done for the week. I ain't running shit." And he's like, "Nah, you're good." And I was like, "Oh, fuck." So I actually ran. I do know for a fact I ran that 7. It was a very sore run, but that was my Motorhead story. And just I look back at fond memories of the pain and just seeing a legend. Ever since that show, I've had little stints where Motorhead meant a little bit more, and times at MMR where they had vinyl and I'd listen to it. Times just listening like Overkill, Iron Fist are really really big songs to me. Other than the songs off of Ace of Spades, Killed by Death is probably my favorite Motorhead song. And just watching that live, that was one of the songs I used to run to when I was in cross country that senior year. Killed by Death, that little solo at the end, that was just great motivation. So for me to have experienced that legacy, I just recently 2020 got done reading Lemmy's autobiography, and just the things he did, the things he was able to get away. The moral character of the man, he wasn't perfect. There's some things in there that made me cringe, like, oh, you believe that or you thought that, but just everyone praises him. You could see the love everyone had for him because he was able to live his life the way he wanted. And I try and live my life that way. I remember Ted Aguilar said, "Just live." That was probably one of my favorite interviews of all time. Ted Aguilar, I've definitely enjoyed. And he summed it up as like, "Dude, just live. Like, enjoy your life." There's so many people I know that don't. That they're not happy and they're about to die, and they didn't do it their way. So that's what Lemmy did, and that's why everyone praises him. He was himself, and that's a hard thing to do nowadays, because you either you overthink it, you want to do something to please others, or you just don't, you're not confident in yourself. But I think the best quote Lemmy had was, if you got a flag and you believe in yourself, go raise it and see who salutes it. That's what I did, and it worked out. So super fortunate to be part of rock history, super fortunate to have experienced Motorhead that one time, even though I got into the music way more after and learned all the songs and all that. It's just a great show, one of those magical moments. So let's go over the set list for Anthrax and Motorhead before I start to cry. Anthrax was Madhouse. 2 was Caught in a Mosh. Got the Time. Love that song. 4, Antisocial, however you say it. Fight 'em Till You Can't was 5. If Nicholasson, or NFL, nice fucking life, apparently. Neon Nights, tribute to James Dio. Ronnie was the greatest. And 8 was In the End, and 9 was Indians, with a long version with the war dance. And then they had Rock and Roll by Rainbow play as their outro. I just got done reading Scott Ian's I'm the Man, it says in here too, so that was great to see them. Motorhead played Bomber, Stay Clean, Metropolis, Over the Top was 4, a guitar solo which counted as a song. 6 was The Chase is Better Than the Catch. 7 was Rocket. Lost Women Blues was 8. Dr. Rock with a drum solo was 9. Ace of Spades 10. Just Cause You Got the Power was 11. No Class was 12. And then Overkill was number 12. Oh, hold on. No, Overkill was number 13 since I can't count. And it says here in the note, a few shows Lemmy was too sick to play. He made it through though. Praise God. And praise God indeed. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was 17, Motorhead. Number 18 is going to be the trip to North Carolina, Charlotte, to see the reggae band New Kingston and Revolution. A reuniting of Zach Hackett, John Johnson, and Greg Coghill. Till next time, guys, as always, Be smart, be mindful, and God bless you. And tell me, did you see Motörhead? Have you ever experienced Motörhead? And what's your favorite Motörhead song at the bottom? Like, share, subscribe. You know the deal. Help a brother out so I can bring these stories like this to you every day of my life. I love telling these stories. I love going to concerts, and I love being that rock kid. So, and gotta show respect. I wore this short, yeah, wore this short shirt, wore this shirt, because Lemmy not only roadied for Jimi Hendrix, but he held him in high self-esteem. And I'm pretty sure this is a shirt I wore. So that's my last Motörhead thing to say. All right, guys, till next time. God bless you.